defining load cases. Special possibility, just use one set of constraints, here a fixation on one side and multiple subcases. You have a standard subcase already defined by default, and in this you find different here compression force, force producing flexion, and this force 3 and 4 giving me a torsion. I look at the results, I find the displacement, and I see, if I later run the film, that you have flexion, and if you're looking from front you see also torsion. What you don't see is the influence of compression, so we can see it must be small. To better understand what's happening here in the forces, not the overlay of all forces, I will make subcases. In the stress area you see a local high stress, it's a singularity on forces because I applied the forces just on the edges. You see these forces are just applied on a edge. I rename the standard load case so I can better understand what's meaning. I say the load case 1 is just compression, and I introduce here active solution, right mouse click, new subcase. Subcase is something like a load case. The subcase here, and I say it's load case 2, and it's the flexion. Okay, I have this one, and I introduce a third load case, new subcase, and this load case 3 I name torsion, because I want in this load case the two forces provoking the torsion. So I see here force 3, double click, I see it, I take it to the torsion load case, the force 3, I take also to the torsion load case. It's inside here, I have to remove them in the load case compression. I don't want it anymore in this load case, so I remove it. And now the force 1, that's the flexion. This force 1 I want in the load case flexion, so I remove this flexion force, and I have a load case compression, I have a load case flexion, I have a load case torsion, and I see the active forces there. I let run the solution, and we'll go to the result file. If I open this result file, we have 3 different results files. The displacement for compression, it's quite small, it's just 0.05 of a millimeter. He makes compression. I change to flexion. You see flexion is much larger, it's 1.6 millimeter, but the scale has changed. Also torsion is quite large, it's 0.4 millimeters, so be careful because the size is all the time 10% of the largest dimension. I stop this animation, and I can also interpret the results as stress. We see the problem that there is all the time a singularity of the force because I introduce it on the edge. An edge has no surface, so the force divided by no surface gives a large stress. It's a singularity. If I look at the flexion, I have the large stresses at the side of the fixation. I look at the stress and compression, it's everywhere the same. We have all the time the same compression. If I go back and look active on the structural, right mouse click, you have this menu, combined load case. I have this load cases I defined, and I can define a new load case where I put all in. I create it and I say compression with the scale 1 added, flexion with the scale 1 added, also the torsion. So I have a superposition of all three load cases. It's a linear combination of the results. I define also a load case where I have the flexion and the torsion together. I create it. I put the flexion with a -1 in, so the force will be changing direction. I have not the force downwards but upwards. I add that. I add torsion and I take only half of this torsion in this load case. Okay, I've defined it. I go load cases like before, but you have also the new ones, linear combination and flex force without making and redoing the analysis. You see the displacement the same as we began. You have also the stresses, and you can see also the superposition of this flexion, and you see it changed the direction, and the torsion is a little bit smaller than before. So that's all I wanted to show to you. So just use this subcase to define your load cases, but take note that there is all the time the same constraint types acting on this problem. That's all.